G'day, Tragic here, and this is Mage Knight in Tabletop Simulator, and this is actually my mod that I made. I've been completely enamored with making mods for Tabletop Simulator. I've been doing that more than playing games recently. So I've got Galaxy Defenders is currently, and then I'm going to do Duel of Ages. But anyway, this is Mage Knight. Now, this is part of my new direction I'm doing with the channel, and no, I'm not stopping the live plays with the physical board games. This is just an additional content which is not going to interfere with that at all. Basically, I enjoy playing in Tabletop Simulator, so I'm going to, is the crux of it. But the actual more interesting reasons for you guys is that it'll allow me to play multiple games at once, because I'll be able to have my game on the table, but I'll also be able to play another game. And sometimes, and I'm sure you guys will agree, I'll play a game that you're not particularly interested in. But, you know, with the editing process and the playing process, I mean, that can mean like a month of videos that you don't want to watch. But this way, I can run 2, maybe even 3 different games all on the channel at once and just say, oh, I feel like playing a bit of Mage Knight, I'll do the next turn of Mage Knight. And it'll break it up, and it'll be good for me because it'll give me a break, because sometimes you can get a bit in your head doing all the editing and everything. So I think this is going to work out for the better. And of course, you know, if you don't like the Tabletop Simulator stuff, you don't have to watch it. I know that there was actually a bit of backlash to my last Tabletop Simulator thing, but even so, this is what we're doing. So we're going to be playing Shades of Tesla, which is the second big box expansion, or as big as the Mage Knight boxes were. This is the one that a lot of people freaked out about, completely unfairly in my opinion. I think Shades of Tesla is actually an awesome expansion. Everybody complained because of the components were slightly different sizes, but I'm pretty sure they did that on purpose, because if you play Shades of Tesla, you're supposed to separate all those tokens, and it just makes it so easy. You just go, smaller, that's the Tesla tokens, bam, 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 you sort it in 5 seconds. Whatever. Regardless of that, whether it's good or bad, you guys can decide. Now, we're going to play co-op, which is unusual for me. I usually play solo, or I play competitive Mage Knight with my mates, and I play it quite a bit now, especially since I got, and even when I play multiplayer solo, like multi-hand solo, I still usually play competitive. It just allows me to not care about the dummy player, basically. But we're going to play proper co-op rules with the dummy player and everything, and that's about that. So I think that's about it for the intro. I'll just do a little bit of a chat about the game world, and then in the next video, we'll have turn 1. Sweet. So we're going to be playing Lost Legion, which is a really underrated expansion. Now, there's a lot of lore in this, but I just want to quickly go through some of the cool stuff. Basically, what I'll do is not Lost Legion, we're playing Shades of Tesla. Close, but no cigar. Okay, so we're playing Shades of Tesla, which is an underrated expansion, I've already mentioned, but I'm just going to read the overview of it here. Tesla was the greatest mage to have ever lived. He succeeded in doing something no one else had, and mastered both the elemental and the necromantic magics. Not content with this, he created a third school by harnessing the power of the Mage Stone, and this fueled the rise of the Atlantean Empire. This third school's power was ended by the breaking, however, and the power of the Empire waned. Tesla died long before the breaking. Upon his death, 4 factions claimed they had his essence bound in an avatar. The Atlantean Empire's avatar, powered by the Mage Stone, was destroyed during the breaking. This leaves just the Elementalists and the Dark Crusaders avatars, along with Tesla's Shade, the avatar of the mysterious and cunning Sylvanni. The Elementalists are an alliance of different races sworn to protect nature from those that would try to take advantage of it. They are guided by Tesla's spirit. The Dark Crusaders are necromancers and the undead who worship the blood goddess Dark Tesla. So this is the kind of the setup. Basically, there's 2 factions, and they are represented in the game from these 2 sets of piles. So we have various monsters and dungeon monsters or whatever that are actually just from that one particular faction. And we draw them instead of drawing from the standard piles like normal. Now, these two big things here are the actual avatars themselves. We will need to fight and defeat one or possibly both of these guys. Now, I mainly play competitive, so seeing a 12-point avatar is ridiculous to me. I mean, that is very large, so I'm not quite sure how we're going to do this. But people do. I mean, there's a type of game mode called Megalopolis where people play co-ops where they make these humongous cities with like huge armies. So people are quite adept at fighting these huge things, but I'm just not used to it. So when I see a 12-point avatar, it scares me. So basically, these replace the cities. So when we find the red or the blue city, we actually place the Hidden Valley or the Necropolis. And they have some special powers of their own, and we have to conquer them. There is a third city somewhere in there, but it's neutral. Every time you kill an enemy, you gain one of these tokens. There's a whole bunch of these tokens, and these can be used for various things, but they're also kind of like items. This one's called the Orb of Twilight, and you can change mana dice, black mana and the source to gold. That's pretty amazing. So as you kill different factions, you get reputation and items which you can use, which is a really cool addition to the game, I thought. Now, basically the way it works is if I just basically we're playing on the open map, right? Which means we can go, I'll just load up the image of it. So we're playing the fully open map, and as you can see, there's the map is divided into two sections, north and south, and that is the Necromancer side and the Elementalist side in the south. Now the middle column is kind of neutral and can be either. So whenever we place a tile in the middle column, we actually just roll this dice here, and whatever it lands on, boom, the middle tile will be an Elementalist. So this tile here is the middle tile. What I might do is I might leave them unlocked, so when I mouse over them, you can see them as the middle tile. Or I might not. We'll see what happens. Anyway, the point is we have no Necromancer stuff up here at the moment because that's not a middle tile, but there's no... Oh, actually there is. I've forgotten to place an Orc Horde. So we grab that from the Crusader pile and we put it down. So as you can see, it's got a little Crusader symbol, and this has got a little Elementalist symbol. But the real focus of the game is the glades. Now the glades are guarded by their faction leaders, and there's a dungeon monster, and there is a rampaging monster. Now these are kind of like tunnels or mazes or even dungeons, as in you have to physically go into them to activate them. So I can actually sit on top of there and it won't activate a combat unless I use my action to go into the glade and fight those guys. And once the glade has been liberated, you then gain the bonuses that a magical glade gives you. But there are some differences, like because in the Elementalist sides, the glades have been corrupted and they're all graveyards, right? So you place the graveyard token on the grave, and night rules apply in there. So it gives you black mana. You can cast black spells and all that kind of stuff, rather than using, getting gold mana and healing and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much the game. Now, we are playing with Wolfhawk, with Athenia, Belvio, or whatever his name is, and Tuvok, or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce fantasy names, so I don't even try. And we've already got one monastery out, so the monastery cards are going down here. And we've got two of these illusionists out, which seem like terrible guys, but they're actually pretty good because they actually have physical resistance, which is actually quite huge when you think about it. You'll see that in action because you think, oh, 2 armor, that's crap, but it's actually not that bad. There's much better versions of physical immunity cards, but that's actually not a bad card, and it's at a monastery, which we can buy. The other really good card is this guy here, which is 5 and a block 4, and it can handle swiftness. This is a very good card, and we've got 2 copies of them out, but we've got no village. Now, we are playing co-op, so we're kind of working together, but I'm still going to play basically every man for himself, but we'll team up when we have to because it'll save me a lot of time in calculating moves. So we've done everything. We've got decent action offer. We've got Spellforge, is a good card. Dodge and Weave, meh. Agility, meh. So it's not too bad, but we do have Decompose, which is a great card. And we've got some fantastic spells up. We've got Wings of the Wind, and we've got Misform. Both really great cards. Especially considering every time you conquer a elementalist zone, you get a artifact, and every time you conquer a Dark Crusader, you get a spell. And remember, the Dark Crusader areas give you mana. So you can actually gain black mana. So that's a great way of casting really powerful spells. So we're going to be definitely sending Athenia up that way. And that's pretty much the setup. We're ready to go. We just need to, figure out what to do. I might just switch to the rule book in case I need it later. And that is pretty much that. I will see you in the next turn.